The G-Shock story has always been about solving problems. When Casio engineer Kakuo Ibei's mechanical watch shattered on a Tokyo sidewalk back in 1982, he didn't just mourn the loss. He assembled Team Tough and spent 2 years dropping prototypes from bathroom windows until they created something genuinely unbreakable. As we all know by now, the result was the iconic GW5000C in 1983, built around the triple 10 concept: survive a 10-meter drop, resist water pressure to 10 bar, and run for 10 years on a single battery. Fast forward 3 decades, and G-Shock had become synonymous with indestructible digital watches. But there was still a problem: Casio's triple sensor technology. The ABC suite of altimeter, barometer, and compass had been exclusive to the ProTrek line. G-Shock fans wanted those survival tools wrapped in shock-resistant armor. And in 2013, Casio delivered. The GW9400 Rangeman became the first G-Shock to pack the full triple-sensor version 3 module, which was a true watershed moment for the Master of G lineup. It descended from the GW9200 Rangeman and GW9300 Mudman, both of which had partial sensor integration, but the Rangeman went all in. And now, over a decade later, even with the newer GPS-equipped GPR H1000 on the market, many enthusiasts still consider this 2013 model the definitive digital G-Shock, and arguably the toughest ever made. While we personally prefer the equally beloved square models, we've owned this watch for years and decided it was due time to take a closer look at the cult classic G-Shock GW9400 Rangeman. Unlike the aforementioned square models, the GW9400 looks like it was designed by someone who loves aggressive angles and has zero interest in subtlety. This is a 55.2mm fortress of black resin with red accents placed so deliberately they almost feel cinematic, especially the Rangeman text on the lower bezel that reveals itself when the light hits just right, like a movie title. 4 silver screws anchor the bezel, likely decorative, but they sell the tactical aesthetic well, and button guards jut out at all 4 corners like protective ramparts. At $365, the Rangeman sits in a pretty interesting valley. You can grab a GW5600 Square for under $50, and the Japan-made GW5000U clocks in around $300. So what exactly justifies the premium for G-Shock here? Well, it's 2 things: the triple sensor suite and those buttons, which we'll get into a bit later. Community consensus borders on cult-like for the Rangeman. Scroll through any G-Shock forum and collectors declare it the one to rule them all, or the best digital watch ever made. And while this watch is pretty massive to say the least, it does wear a bit smaller than those absurd dimensions might suggest. The near 90-degree lug angle keeps it from feeling like a plank strapped to your wrist, even an Arwear 6.75-inch wrist seen here. The Rangeman shares DNA with ProTrek models like the PRW3000 that also runs the triple sensor V3 module. So what's the difference here? ProTreks are slimmer with larger displays and dedicated sensor buttons. The Rangeman consolidates those functions into one chunky pusher at 3 o'clock and wraps everything in G-Shock shock-resistant architecture. You definitely lose some screen real estate, but gain the peace of mind that this thing really is tough as hell, surviving falls that would shatter most watches. Let's address this right out of the gate. This watch is huge: 55.2mm wide, 53.5mm tall, 18.2mm thick, and 93 grams. That's thicker than the Seiko Arnie and wider than most dive watches. But as we mentioned, it doesn't necessarily wear like a 55mm watch. Those aggressively angled lugs drop almost perpendicular to the strap, making the effective lug-to-lug feel a bit closer to 50mm. The watch hugs your wrist rather than sitting on top of it like a hockey puck. And what exactly makes this case special? Well, it's those 6 buttons. Most G-Shocks make do with 4, and anyone who's tried pressing the tiny pushers on a DW5600 knows the struggle. As much as we love the Square, those buttons can be challenging, especially in colder conditions. The Rangeman's buttons are large, metal, and diamond textured for grip. They're also mud resistant, meaning Casio engineered the structure to prevent debris from gumming up the works. The tactile feedback is also really satisfying. The button layout is brilliant across the board, including that dedicated light button below the dial, and probably most importantly, a massive sensor button at 3 o'clock with a red accent ring. Press it once to cycle through your last used ABC function. It's really thoughtful UX design that took Casio 3 decades to nail. Button guards extend from the case at 4 points, protecting pushers during impacts. On the left side sits the sensor itself, a small circular port handling barometric pressure, temperature, and directional readings. The case finishing is entirely matte black resin, and Casio lists this as both mud resistant and low temperature resistant, with 200 meters of water resistance to boot. Flip it over, and you're greeted with a stainless steel caseback held in place by 4 screws, engraved with the Rangeman's Wildcat mascot, meant to represent agility, awareness, and survival in hostile terrain. Of course, G-Shock fans will know that this is part of Casio's Master of G tradition, where each extreme tool gets its own mascot, And in that context, it actually feels kind of perfect. A little weird, maybe, but also very on brand, and we really dig the Jungle Cat as it adds a bit of personality to the mix. On to the dial, where the Rangeman uses a positive LCD display, dark digits on light background. It's generally easier to read in bright conditions, though it sacrifices some of that blacked out G-Shock aesthetic so many fans love. The screen is a bit smaller than you'd expect, amounting to only about 25mm of display within a 55mm case. The solar charging ring eats up some of that screen real estate, and Casio sectioned the display into multiple zones. The main screen shows hours, minutes, seconds, day, and date, and the upper left sits a rotary disc, which displays seconds in timekeeping mode, goes wild during stopwatch use, acts as a compass indicator when navigating, and shows time zone differential and world time. While it does look pretty cool, it's also incredibly functional. The lower portion displays additional information depending on mode, and we're not going to go through all of the details as that would require a much longer video. You'll see barometric pressure trends, temperature readings, altitude measurements, or countdown timer info. Solar charging happens via the carbon pattern ring surrounding the display. Functional under any light source thanks to the tough solar technology, and the convenient battery indicator tells you whether you're at low, medium, or high charge. The backlight is genuinely bright in low light situations with good coverage and no hotspots, and it's operated from that large, centered button sitting just below the dial. There's also an auto light function, though we've always found it to be a bit too sensitive for our liking. When it comes to the dial, there is one criticism that is definitely worth mentioning. Casio used mineral crystal instead of sapphire. At $365, and given the Rangeman's premium Master of G positioning, this feels like a miss. It's more susceptible to scratches and feels a bit less premium, even if Casio clearly chose it for its impact resistance over outright scratch protection. The viewing angles aren't great either. Digits distort when you're not looking straight on, which can be annoying when driving or typing. At the heart of the Rangeman sits the Module 3410, combining tough solar power with multiband 6 atomic timekeeping. This watch charges itself using any light source and automatically syncs with atomic clock signals from 6 transmitters worldwide. Set your home city and the watch handles the rest, including daylight savings adjustment. Battery life is 7 months on a full charge without light exposure, though the solar panel constantly tops it off. The star here is of course that triple sensor version 3 module. Released back in 2013, this third generation ABC sensor technology was 90% smaller than version 2, uses less power, takes faster readings, and delivers more accurate measurements. The altimeter reads -2300 to 32,800 feet. The barometer tracks 260 to 1100 HPA, and the compass provides 16-point directional readings. The barometer is actually quite useful for daily wear. Rising trend means clearing conditions, falling pressure suggests incoming weather. Casio even lets you set a barometric alarm for sudden drops as well, and the 42-hour pressure graph gives visual history that's helpful for planning outdoor activities. The altimeter and compass are definitely less precise here. Think of these as references rather than GPS accuracy. The altimeter works via barometric pressure, so weather changes can throw off readings. Casio recommends frequent calibration against known elevations. The compass is serviceable for general navigation, but we'd still recommend packing a real compass for more serious backcountry travel. One surprise feature we really enjoyed is the sunrise and sunset times. Input your coordinates and the watch displays sunrise and sunset for any date. For anyone spending time outdoors, this is incredibly useful for planning or even just catching a beautiful sunset against the Pacific. The resin strap measures 22mm at the lug with a slight taper. What sets it apart from entry-level G-Shock straps is definitely the quality. Strap it on and you'll immediately notice it's softer and more pliable, without the cheap plastic feel of the GW5600. And the inner surface features raised channels for airflow and security when wet. The clasp is double locking with a metal keeper that's appropriately chunky. Casio also added a raised notch at the tail, preventing the keeper from sliding off. It's another functional design element that makes you appreciate the thought behind this watch. Comfort exceeded expectations here across the board. The strap breaks in after a few days and molds to your wrist. At 93 grams though, it's not light by any means, but weight distribution is good enough that you'll stop noticing it. So, the question that remains after all of this, is the $365 G-Shock GW9400 Rangeman worth it? Especially considering you can get a G-Shock Square for $50 or even the GW5000U for similar money. Well, if you hike, camp, surf, or spend any real time outdoors, the ABC sensors definitely help justify the premium. The barometer itself has proven useful for checking weather trends, and the sunrise-sunset feature is more practical than expected. Even the altimeter, imperfect as it is, adds real value for tracking elevation. The buttons are the other half. They're so much better than the standard G-Shock pushers that using the Square after the Rangeman feels like a downgrade. Those dedicated light and sensor buttons, the tactile feedback, the glove-friendly size, these details really matter when you're actually using the watch, especially in an outdoor or even blue-collar environment. We will say that the mineral crystal is a little disappointing, and the display could be more legible at certain angles. The size will also polarize. It's huge, and it's not going to work well for smaller wrists, and it certainly doesn't hide under a cuff. But for G-Shock collectors, the GW9400 feels nothing less than essential. For everyone else though, it's the grab-and-go adventure watch that never needs a battery change, never needs time adjustment, and will outlast just about anything you throw at it. In a world where the GPR H1000 Rangeman added both Bluetooth and GPS but lost the plot with a busy interface, this 2013 original remains the purest choice. It's the apocalypse watch that keeps on ticking long after the smartphones have died. Is it the best G-Shock money can buy? Maybe it's our square bias showing, but that's certainly subjective. Regardless, we absolutely understand why so many enthusiasts consider it the one digital G-Shock that gets everything right. As always, we'd love to hear from you. Do you think the Rangeman GW9400 is still the best digital G-Shock over a decade later? And is a triple sensor suite worth the premium over a standard G-Shock? Let us know in the comments below and be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.